We got to sit down with Kristin Biase, who is the Director of Recreation and Visitor Services for the Morris County Park Commission and has worked for the parks for over 25 years. Kristin, thank you so much for being here today to chat with us.
Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, absolutely our pleasure. First of all, no matter what park we find ourselves exploring, do you have any safety tips you can share with us?
So some safety tips that I can share with everybody are always be prepared. Always make sure that people know where you are while you're out hiking, whether it be in a flat trail area or if you're going out into, like Malon Dickerson Reservation and you're up in the mountains. Make sure that, people know where you are and how long you think you're going to be there. Also want to make sure that you stay on marked trails. And that is both for your safety and for the safety of the wildlife that's out there and the area that you're in. You also want to make sure that you're dressing appropriately. So dress for the weather. Make sure that you have the right shoes on your feet. I've seen people hiking in flip-flops, so you don't want to do that. So make sure you have the right shoes and you have the right equipment with you. Make sure that you bring bottled water. Make sure that your cell phone is fully charged before you go out on a trail. And if you're going to be out for a long period of time, maybe bring one of those backup chargers for your phone as well. You also want to make sure that you have a map of some kind before you go out onto the trails. So plan your route ahead of time and make sure that if you do happen to find that you're not where you should be, check where you are on the map. And that way, if you do happen to need to call 911 or the sheriff's office, that they know where they can find you based on the map and your coordinates.
And you want to download all this before the trail as much as possible too, because you don't necessarily have service, right?
Absolutely. That's one of the main things is always make sure you know on the trails where you are. In Morris County on our park system, our trails are very well marked. We have a great trail crew that takes care of those trails. And the maps are always updated by our GIS person. So always make sure that you have downloaded those before you go out.
Excellent. And yeah, you have great resources online for that as well.
Absolutely, yeah.
And what about trail etiquette? What should we know about that?
So trail courtesy is you always want to make sure that you are yielding to hikers, yield to equestrians, bikers yield to both equestrians and hikers. And pretty much bikers really need to pay attention to everybody because they're generally going the fastest on the trail. You also always want to make sure that you stay to the right of the trail. And you want to make sure that if you have a pet with you that they're on their leash and that you have them under control on their leash so they're not kind of wandering in and out of the trail if people are trying to pass you and you're trying to pull them in. Make sure that your dog or any other animals under control on their leash.
There's a lot of farmland, so you never know what else could be coming out here.
Exactly.
And I bet for a safety standpoint for the pets too, with ticks and bugs and all of that, just to stay on the trails.
Yes, staying on the trails, again, even with the animals is a big thing.
And then when it comes to, playing your music, or if you get a phone call while you're on a trail, what should people kind of pay attention to there?
So I know everybody wants to be kind of in their zone when they're walking on the trail, especially if they're out to kind of meditate and get into their area. What you want to do is you want to make sure if you're wearing AirPods or earphones, have one ear open so that you can hear if somebody's passing on your right or passing on your left. You want to make sure that you can hear possibly a biker coming down that's going to be saying, hey, on your left, so you know to move over. If you're in an area that is tight, make sure that if you're traveling in a group that you kind of go single file so that you can let other people use the trail. But with the earphones, definitely make sure that you can hear what's going on around you, but you can still enjoy your music.
And this park in particular, Loantaka Brook Reservation, what is unique about this place?
So there are so many fun things about Loantaka. It's great because it's kind of a flat park, so any experience can do this. You could just be out for your first hike. You could be out with a stroller on the paved trails. There's just almost about 10 miles of trails here. So you can do, come out with your kids in your stroller. They can be right alongside you on their little bike if they're learning how to bike ride with their training wheels. You can be on the trails and you can see horses on these trails and you can see other bikers. It's really cool on a weekend if you're here. Weekends generally tend to be a little bit busier, but you can be in parts of the park where you see people and you can be in other parts of the park where you're the only one that's there and you kind of get to really enjoy the majestic everything that's out here.
We already talked about this on the show, but it's that so many parts of this are paved is such a bonus too, and I can't believe that it's pretty flat.
Yes, it's a fantastic park. And we also have a bike share here, so if you don't have your own bike and you want to go bike riding, you can come here and use the bike share and ride your bike on the trail and then just return it at the end of your day.
Fantastic. And now I have to ask you, what is your favorite part about living in New Jersey?
My favorite part has to be the food. I'm definitely a foodie. And you can kind of get any food anywhere in New Jersey. The other thing is we have so many different landscapes in New Jersey. So we've got flatland, we've got farmland, we've got mountains. You know, you're never too far away from anything in New Jersey. So that's one of my things that I really enjoy about being in New Jersey.
Thank you so much for chatting with us a bit today, Kristin. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Loantaka is one of many opportunities here in New Jersey to get outside and take in what nature has to offer. If you'd like more information on ways to give back and get involved with New Jersey parks and trails, check out healthyinthegardenstate.com for links to more. So many thanks to Kristin Biase and Morris County Parks Commission.